the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Rise of Legion CS:GO tournament powered by Lenovo and Intel, and we have AFK Gaming as our media partner. I am Apollonia. I'll be your host for today, and joining me is the one and only your boy Shade Slayer.
What's up, Apple? Good to be back. Round of 128 kicks off today. I can't be more excited.
Yes, indeed. So the last time we saw you was on Saturday. That was the last day of the round of 256. Now we are starting the round of 128. Just a quick recap. We saw all esports orgs or well-known teams like GE, Phoenix Esports, Demos Force. They made it through, which is pretty much expected. And then of course we have the fan favorite and whatnot like Too Easy Gaming. But today, the first game is going to be Wasted Potential. And we've seen them the last time around, but this time they will be against Reckoning Esports in this round of 128. So, Shade, any thoughts on this upcoming match?
It's going to be a very close one. Two very well skilled teams, and they're going to be going up against each other on train in a best of one. I know we've said this already a million times, best of ones, there's barely any room for error. Going into this match, Reckoning is going to be the favorite, but Wasted Potential starting off on the T side, if they're able to get a few rounds early on. Yes, it is a lot more balanced right now than it used to be when it was a heavy CT-sided map, I think even a year back. But if they can start building some momentum here on the T side, they can definitely put up a fight and maybe even take down Reckoning Esports here in this round of 128 match.
For sure, because the last time we saw Wasted Potential, they were against Rage of Hunters,
Yeah.
and they beat them 16-3. So that was pretty much like a stomping, right?
Yeah.
But this time, I think it's going to be a little bit more even. Wasted Potential against Reckoning Esports. I hope so. Now that we're in the round of 128, hopefully games are a lot more close, and there isn't going to be stomps because most teams will get wiped out in the earlier tier.
Yeah. We might still get to see a few lopsided matches here or there, but by and large, it's gonna be a lot more tighter affair in this round. And the first match here today on stream, I think is gonna be one of the closest we will get to see this round. Pretty even skilled teams. That being said, we are counting down to round one of this best of one round of 128 match. Let's jump straight into the action. Reckoning Esports starting off on the CT side, while Wasted Potential start off on the T side. I'm Shesaya. Joining me is OG, the low res chicken. OG, what's up?
Well, the weekend's been great so far, but looking at this new head, it looks like the week ahead of us is going to be even better. Kara, he did real good there, got the early kill, and now he's buying time for Reckoning to be on the rotation. Rio saying missed the smoke, might take the wide swing, but he gets taken down pretty easily. Rio massive denied though, as he's able to fall back as well. He's buying time. Fuse could potentially take the boost. That's if Wasted Potential allow it though. Playing this one slow, win. But swing and be able to retrieve the bomb as well. He should be able to get this planted in a safe position. We are taking the boost, risky stuff, and Wimp expects it to come from a mile away. It's all up on Fuse. He sees it 75 and a 1-3 ahead of him. Tap, but yeah, he just simply cannot land that kill. Betray on the other end, instant tap with the USP and Wasted Potential. A quick push towards A yields them the pistol.
Yep, Wasted Potential almost unchallenged get themselves onto the A side. Would have gotten a little tricky towards the end, especially with Reckoning finding the planter at the perfect time, but the C4 was dropped a little bit of cover. They were able to retrieve that, get the plant, wasted potential, pick up the pistol, and it looks like it's going to be an ace stack as a couple of players have already headed in this direction, but I don't see the CTs being able to do much of this. Trust coming in, should be able to put that Mac 10 to use. Goes for the boost. USPs.
And yeah, this should be a Reckoning Esports' win. For those who are just tuning in, the names actually are swapped. If I'm not mistaken, Kara is a player of wasted potential. So a minor bug with the scorecard. It is Reckoning Esports for now who hold the lead on the T side of trades. So if you're coming into this a little confused, your confusions are well understood, my friend. For now, Reckoning Esports is...
Oh, we're gonna...
To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else.
We're doing
yeah, there we
good
go.
now, yeah. We are doing A-OK shade, and so should Reckoning Esports considering the amount of utility they have. Although we are opening things up with a massive kill. That kind of replying kind though, Mike does not let his teammates' death go down in vain. Clouder. He's gonna play a very pivotal position in this push as he buys distraction for Vexy, and Vexy has struck from the back lines. It even stays down to 2 versus 3, and Vexy has just done a Herculean task of not only giving Reckoning Esports a way back, but in a dominant fashion as well. As now we enter the 2 versus 2, the Molotov is gonna dissipate, and Vexy should anticipate this push through Ivy. It is earlier than expected though, and Fuse, all eyes are going to be on him to deliver, because he's the one who's in the position to deliver the maximum amount of impact. They're just playing this one slow, a minute left on the clock. Reckoning have more than enough time to try and play with the minds of wasted potential. Fuse, patient as ever with his positioning, does get a kill gifted on a Vexy, and that leaves Claro at 27 HP and a 1 versus 2 ahead of him. Rio is already a step ahead though. He's gonna play alongside his friends. Clouder should be going down at any moment and reach the potential, get that first round on the back of what you'd consider a choppy investment, considering they didn't have a lot of utility heading into this round, but they made it work. The trades are beautiful from their end on the CD side.
Yep, the CDs get their first round in their courtesy. Some early frags coming in the round, and yep, Reckoning Esports in that 2v2, pushing in towards Ivy. They did not expect the player to be in position. 1v2 at the end was a pretty tall order. Regardless, I believe they're going to go early towards Pop Doc here. No presence here just yet. Yellow Flash with the smoke. Gets it in just about in the nick of time, preventing Betray from getting out there towards Electric.
Exactly. For now, they've contained the breach, but for how long is going to be the next question, because Reckoning, they have a decent bit of utility left in the bag. 2 Molotovs, 3 smokes, a couple of flashes here and there. Certainly should be enough for a take, but the afterplan's going to be a little itchy as they will need to take uncomfortable fights. But what in God's name did Trist do? $800 down the drain, but 2 players of wasted potential truly living up to their name. 2 versus 5 as his bike gets dismantled. Reckoning Esports, all they had to do was crawl up towards highway. Nobody from wasted potential had early eyes towards that position. And they paid dearly. That B-side defense just crumbled. Wow. You just cannot underestimate the aim of some of these players. They are right up there and they're ready to give you a mile's worth of kicking for an inch worth of leeway.
Waste of potential. Back on the pistols here. As Reckoning Esports on the T side starting to build momentum. And looks like there's nothing much. Yeah. Unless they land a few more duels like that, will they be able to recover the AK? They do.
This might be possible shade. This is scary. Wimp is on. All by his boots and sprays a little wild. Molly does push Mike off, but it pushes him towards Wimp. Luckily, Wimp got the reload in the nick of time. But mind you, they are trying their level best to deny Wimp as much as they can. In that process, they are feeding him kills though. He's having a farm day thus far. Rio on him to try and put an end to this. Good job with the D group, 2 kills. Something for them to work with, at least damage done in this round shade by Wasted Potential. They're keeping the economy of Reckoning Esports low, but what Reckoning are doing so good is not allowing any momentum to be gained by Wasted Potential. The only way you can hold the A side on train is if you have aggressive utility, which is either a Molly Nate combo towards T-Con or a Molly Molly combo towards both T-Con and Olaf to deny them that early control and to fight through E-Box. But you can only do those if you have utility. If you don't, it becomes a very hellish sight to hold, as the T's can just flash all over and rush you down before you even know it. Exactly as said it was done to Twist. Alongside went through the smoke, able to take that frag, and now they're gonna extend it. They are encroaching upon the A side, and there's so little room for Wasted Potential to even mount a defense. Cloud has spotted the player going through heaven, and they know that there is at least another man towards side. But Rio with an excellent turnaround makes this a 2 versus 3, a more doable situation for Wasted Potential. Vexy a little confused on his aim, but he is confident in his game. It's all left on a fuse in a 1 versus 3. And he's been very sneaky, like could potentially catch you off guard. This thing, it's wild! And he gets taken down. How? Well, I'm pretty sad that position is called camera, because it recorded every single thing you do not want for a player to be shown in a tournament.
Well, it is one of those moments when you have so many options in front of you and you don't really know which one to take, and you end up taking absolutely none. As Reckoning Esports continue to march on 5-1. Wasted Potentials have given away a lot of rounds on their CT side. OG doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. Beautiful entry from Vexy, trying to deny any kind of control towards E-Box. And it's more of a cleanup crew right now. The Wasted Potentials, they tried to post up aggressively with the pistols, but that simply didn't pan out due to the aggressive utility and the early fights taken by Reckoning or Reviews. He's a far away from winning this round, but he's sure as hell making it as expensive as possible for Reckoning, which in turn will keep their economy low and would give Wasted Potential as much of a chance to come back. Considering the scoreline, I'd say they need to start kicking in anytime soon, or Reckoning Esports will have complete control.
Yep, Wasted Potential do get the buy-in, and they're going to immediately move on to the double up setup. The big greens onto the hands of Yellow Flash as well as Rio. 6-1 utility. Not the absolute best, but they do have enough to challenge here, and Rio. Not sure if he spotted a leg there.
Yeah, that is a little iffy, even on our display. Kara, he might very well be sidelined, but he's far too smart for it. Vexy gets taken down. Reckoning Esports, this is one of the few times where their commitment towards the A side has failed them. You can see that they're already ready with a B plan. Now, commencing that push towards B, mind you, in the 4-sub round, this is what caught the potential off guard. And this proves to be their bane of this E-side existence. The Molly, but Rio's a little too late and he's already burned. Where is the smoke? Why is there no smoke? What? You need that smoke in. So much time being wasted, so much control being denied, and now the round essentially gone down the drain. Wasted potential, that is very critical that they take side control as soon as possible. They choose the more conservative route and they do commit to a save. But this is just Reckoning Esports completely out-reading and punishing Wasted Potential on their tendencies. It is beautiful to watch on the T side how reactionary T side train could be, especially on the hands of some of these players from Reckoning who are both very explosive, while at the same time do maintain a real good buddy system while entering through the A side.
Yep, there was no trade in place whatsoever. Like you said, he pretty much spent a couple of seconds there trying to second guess his decision whether to go with the smoke or not. But that was just about enough time for the teams to get into good post-plant situations and eventually Wasted Potential. Despite getting a pick-off up at CT, they decide to back away and save the AWP and the 2 rifles. So they will have a decent bit of firepower coming into this. The auto shotty on Fuse, but Reckoning at the moment a dominating T side here in the round of 128 for the Rise of Legion CSGO tournament.
What do you think of Reckoning's roster so far in their CS division? I feel like this is a roster which you look at it as a team, right? You look at some of these names. Wimp and Vexy alongside Clara, if I'm not wrong, have been teammates in the past. Trist has been one of the few members in the Bengali community who has been playing for a very long time, right? We've seen him all the way back, I guess, 2 years to 2.5 years down the line, and seeing him develop into this kind of mixed roster. This is the kind of roster you'd consider dark horse material. This very well could be one of the juggernaut teams that you might not expect in the woods, but once you see that shadow, you start to sweat just a little bit. They have name. They have been in the scene for quite a while, rated as I'd say A-tier talents, not really breaking it out in towards the S tier, in towards the top 10, top 5 teams in the world, in India, right? It's only Trist who's done that thus far. I find that if this project has to work, it will come down to tournaments like these where they'll rely on results to reach all the way up through the quarterfinals, at least prove that they're juggernaut material, because that's where every good team has its inception. It's that you can be good and then you are good. That's the phase that they need to go through right now.
And unfortunate for Wasted Potential, they find themselves in a spot of bother in this best of one elimination match. So 1-7, they've not got too many rounds to fall back on here. They need to change things up, and they need to change things up fast. This is, I believe, a tech pause called by Reckoning, but I think it's going to do a lot of good for Wasted Potential now that they've got the brakes on. And at the moment, I don't believe they've done just about enough in stopping Reckoning from entering the sites in the first place. They haven't done anything. The straight up individual duels at the start haven't gone their way, and they've always pretty much been playing from the back foot on most of these rounds. And I think maybe it is time for Wasted Potential, if needed, to even start aggressing, maybe down Ivy, get an early pick-off, get that early man advantage to try and get some of that PMA going on their side.
More importantly, what Wasted Potential could focus on is their utility usage towards the A side. Predominantly, teams do prefer to play fast towards A just due to the fact that if you have the push coupled in with a couple of flashes, it makes the trade more or less even Stevens. And when it comes to the philosophy of CS, if you're given a fair chance to take a fight as a terrorist, you absolutely 100% need to take that fight. Because that's the best chance, at least in an equal setting, that you would ever get. Now, considering that Wasted Potential's aggressive utility usage toward the A side has not been directed towards Decon as that much, that is given that small window of opportunity for Reckoning to capitalize upon it and quickly amass such a massive lead on the T side. Where Wasted Potential could potentially focus on is try to nade stack towards T connector, molly towards Olaf, and try getting a man through SL. You need that control towards the A side to make your defense as dynamic as possible. Once you're all laid back and comfy towards the side, it's so easy for the T side to not only wrap around through Ivy, but they can rush all the way from Olaf Train to Hell, and suddenly your defense is only towards connector and the bomb train, which is simply not enough real estate on the A side to even stand your ground, let alone the utility and the barrage of flashes that Reckoning Esports are throwing at your face alongside relentless firepower.
Let's see if the AWP from Yellow Flash this time can find an early pick. Last time he did head towards connector, almost spots a foot there.
The flash is on point for that engagement.
Yeah, the flash comes on point, allowing that jiggle peek from the T, who was looking to get a peek towards mid, and Yellow Flash was blinded just about long enough that he doesn't find that small opportunity to pull the trigger. And they've done a fantastic job every single time, like you said, with the utility to keeping the CTs pinned at the back of the site, restricting the kind of vision that they have as well. while the T's do eventually take control. The B side defense, I think, has come down to pretty much a couple of times now where the T's have pretty much pushed out through upper, and the CTs pretty much lose the first opening duel straight up. And I think maybe just use some utility towards there as well, preventing Reckoning from being able to make those moves as early as in the round as they've been able to do, OG.
And at the end of the day, you also have to attribute the distinct advantage that Reckoning Esports have in terms of experience, right?
Yeah.
Wasted Potential have a few good players on their roster, which is primarily attributed to their firepower. Whereas Reckoning Esports, a lot of these players have more experience when it comes to playing against the big dogs of the Indian scene. Because they've been in so many other tournaments, right, where they were considered the underdogs and they had to fight their way through such opposition, but they would get bested. Now it's their chance to return to besting. Perhaps this is the Wasted Potential's learning curve. Beautiful entry. Both Twist and Cloud are hitting on 6th gear, while he's on 19 HP. He still continues to maintain the momentum, leaving Rio in a 1 versus 3. The entire defense on the A side collapses, and Rio, possibly a 1 versus 3, jumps down. He's at a 19 himself, and he needs to go massive here to individual 1v1s offer, though Faxi's position given away. He knows exactly where Wimp's playing from. They stand the smoke for a little bit of cover, but Wimp quick on the peak. Reckoning Esports, they made it look almost easy towards the ace side. It's just that pace, right, that Wasted Potential could not keep up with. Reckoning Esports, they hit you before you know it. And boy, does that hurt where the sun don't shine.
Well, we talked about this during the tech pause. Wasted Potential just can't allow Reckoning to charge up that early. It was straight up the T's pushing through mid right there, getting that opening frag uncontested. This time they have a lot more utility heading in towards mid, preventing that push though, but looks like they tried to pull a fast one on Fuse, but he's having none of it. They get a couple of frags. This round seems like it is heading at least in the way of Wasted Potential for now, but Betray
Could be a chance. No, Betray. That was the golden ticket back in. It would have been a 3 versus 3. Now it transitions 2 versus 4. Wasted Potential. It's been the first time in a very, very long time from since they've had a distinct advantage to close the round out. And I guess Mike's push towards T-Spawn should confirm the bomb. In the meantime, Wasted Potential are kind of dropping the soap when it comes to the side, as they've already let a player down. Another player in, and Reckoning Esports would be even, but I'm not expecting this from a mile away, and Wasted Potential close the round out before it gets any more messy. 8-2. A chance for redemption here, Shade.
yeah,
But it's all going to be on the back of this round, because they need their economy set straight if they are to put a stop to Reckoning.
I mean, Reckoning were riding the momentum, right? They knew for a fact that early aggression was working for them. In that instance, they decide to actually push the smoke at lower towards B, but the CT was well in position for a play like that. And this time, Wasted Potential start off with the frags in the early round, and they're able to convert. And that is exactly what they need in the rounds up ahead. But Yellow Flag has just pushed up so far ahead. He's so isolated away from the rest of his teammates, and he's got to give away.
And you really can't afford to take such individual fights. There was barely any cover towards SL. There was virtually nobody in position to support him. Yet, they do come up even on the trade. Too little too late, maybe? Wasted Potential, they are taking fights which they do not necessarily need to commit to, yet it is still an even 2 versus 2. Ria goes away and extends it though. Betray might have just been a lapse in communication as he did spot ahead before his teammate did go down. He also knows that he has to play this one fast though to deny any help in way of rotation. Ria just playing ring around the rosy, but he gets discovered. And Betray has a right idea about this. He could collect the bomb, he's down 24 HP.
And he spotted the player out as well. He's just going to hold the angle down.
Beautiful. Reckoning Esports, again, their sheer pace overwhelms Wasted Potential's defense. You've got to attribute some of that to losing your nerve, right? Especially that initial kill was such a giveaway that they got the early pick, and then it's been the collapse towards the A side, which has been the trend throughout the entire map. Towards the entire match, actually. there shouldn't have been such an aggressive stance posed by Wasted Potential as well. This is where nerves and experience really starts to kick in, and where you can afford to perhaps extend that. Yeah, Kara, he was just praying that he hit his timing and his chances right together. Sadly, the only thing that hit him was a bullet. And it's just waiting for Rio. Pop goes the Weasel, but it actually gets returned. Beautiful display with the Deagle Rio. He does hit the double. Again, making it expensive for Reckoning, but it never feels like Wasted Potential are coming into a round with a significantly better chance to win. When it's Reckoning on the other end, consistently delivering a beautiful execute towards the ace side. Just fast-paced game that you'd love to watch on CS from time to time.
I just love, like you said, the pace at which Reckoning are playing right now. They don't give two hoots. It's early aggression in the round. They know for a fact Wasted Potential. They've got them intimidated. They've got them on the back foot. And they're going to keep on this aggression until Reckoning eventually are not able to find an opening. But as long as they do, they have no problem just rinse and repeat every single round. Kara, yeah.
This is exactly what you would not want in Train Shade. It's a map where the defense is so team reliant. Even if a single person is out of picture, there's a huge chance that the A defense is going to crumble. This is the only reason why why you consider the success rate of Train to be more even when it comes to sides being a factor. Hence, it could go CT-sided as well, but it's heavily reliant on the team's defense towards A. Else, it's going to be pretty hard for the CT side to even get a grasp at what you'd consider a worthwhile economy. And 11-2 down in. I expected this to be a close game, Shade, in all honesty, but Wasted Potential, they still have a couple of things to work on. And I feel like if they are able to attend 2 or 3 more tournaments like this down the year, we'd see a very new and fresh start to what you'd consider younger talents in the scene right now.
Yeah, they did look very strong though in their first round match, but unfortunately, here out on Train, we haven't really seen that spark yet back again. At which point of time I'm actually pretty much questioning the Train pick in itself, letting it through as late into the veto as they did. So at least for now, they're going to have to pretty much make do with what they have. 2 more rounds in this half. The absolute bare minimum they need to even put up a fight, let alone make a comeback here in this best of 1 OG.
I mean, this is where that bluff during the veto stage really costs you, right? Especially in tournaments like this as well, where it's single elimination. I'm not really confident if it was a veto buff, given that I've not seen Wasted Potential play on Train. Who knows? Maybe they would have tried to at least develop some kind of default or a strategy heading into this one, but things might have certainly not panned out in their favor. I just hope that getting out of this, Wasted Potential have that team charisma that you talked about, right? Where in the Indian scene, what many, even top tier players says, they lack that grit to stick through the tough times, where you do not perform any roster change. You keep working on your individual understanding of the game and grow together as a team. I feel like that's something that a lot of these Indian teams could do, because we've seen no shortage of aim shade. We know that even when it comes to India, we have really sick aimers. It's about how you work in chemistry and in unison, which is where spending more time together on one roster, developing that one formula that might carry you to success. Mind you, it can be your formula. You don't need to copy any other team. You don't need to look at the past. You don't need to look at what current teams are doing. You can develop this all by yourself with your own ingenuity and wit and your understanding of the game. That's the beauty of CS. There is not necessarily a flat out right or wrong thing unless it comes to fundamentals, but there's a lot of gray area in between you can play around with.
Let's talk a little bit about Wimp. 20 frags in the first 13 rounds of this match. Swan has been pretty explosive from the get-go. Multi-frags almost every single round. Man's been unstoppable is pretty much leading the way here for Reckoning and Waste the Potential. They've tried the double op setup already. They've tried the single op setup. It hasn't really done much. I think more so have allowed Wasted Potential to actually win those duels when they're close up, which has pretty much been the case every single round, where they're able to get the smokes in, get the CTs completely blind as they make their way in, and close quarters, those AWPs aren't really worth as much, are they, OG?
Well, considering that Reckoning's utility has been on point as well, it really does put a world of hurt into whoever is holding the big green, right? Because not only do you need to be in the perfect position, you need to be in the perfect circumstance, which includes dodging every single piece of utility thrown at you, while at the same time maintaining a superior advantage on the angle that you're holding. It tends to add up. It tends to add up to quite a tall list that you simply cannot fulfill. I'd say Wasted Potential still have the chance to come back into this. We've seen maps like Crane where you see a team dominate in the first half on one side, right? But when it comes to the defensive side or the side they're going to switch to, you see them slowly start to whiff. This might grow into what some consider a joke. And we've seen it on the maps like Crane, like Nuke, like Vertigo, where you need to play a completely different style on the other side. And it's heavily reliant on you getting early success, at least in Train, especially on the CT side, A side defense. If you successfully hold the push towards yard, if you successfully get control towards the E-box line alongside a buddy of yours, it's going to be pretty hard for the T side to penetrate unless the flashes are on point and unless you're looking at the flashbang where you get flashed, then you're more or less one and done. You're toast. So it's going to come down to a couple of those engagements in the last two rounds that you have left in the half. If Wasted Potential win the pistol, which is probable considering 50% is generally the rate of success in a pistol round, regardless of how good the team is or how the map plays out, Wasted Potential could right back be in it, but they need to have as much of a positive attitude about this as we are, Shay.
The
At
money
the end of
right
the day, it's going to come down to that.
Yeah, and they don't have the money here for this round. The question is, do they force buy into this, or do they go ahead and get a really good buy in the next round? So I think that is a decision that Wasted Potential are pretty much not going to have a choice in, because I don't think 3 rounds is nearly enough on the CT side. They need at least the 4. They need pretty much need everything they can find. So I do believe they might eventually be pushed towards a force buy here, but force buy up against the form that Reckoning Esports is in right now, I don't think it's going to amount to much.
Exactly. It's going to be quite the testament if Wasted Potential could even post these 2 rounds. Reckoning side, I'd say they have to be feeling pretty comfortable. You know, Reckoning Esports, I'd say is some. It's a brand that's looking to get very, very wide into Indian esports. They not only have a roster in CS, but they have one in Dota. They have a pretty good roster in Siege. If I'm not mistaken, one of the only organizations to prioritize coaching in this country. Something really good to see. I wish that Reckoning Esports have a CS coach as well. I feel like coaches are a very undervalued aspect of a team, and to be quite honest, a quite rare aspect as well. I mean, talking about Indian esports as an entirety, there's only a handful of coaches that comes to mind. Ekuta certainly back in the day coached Entity, renowned for his ingenuity and the way he tries to approach the game. Right, he tries to break down fundamentals, have theory sessions for the team, and he tries to get he tries to get the chemistry to its max, just trying to get as strong as a bond in players as you can. While on the other hand, you have people like David who did try and coach Entity later on. That's the foreign coach, by the way, who came down from one of the CIS states, if I'm not mistaken, CIS countries, if I'm not mistaken. So having more coaches would definitely help some of these newer teams like Reckoning, where they have a lot of name behind them. They have a little bit of experience, but that little touch of brilliance that a coach could buy you, man, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else that could transform players as such.
100%, man. I think the coach himself adds another complete dimension to your play style in terms of allowing you to think out of the box, allowing you to understand how to tackle a variety of situations. And I think someone who can pretty much see the macro game as well from a standpoint of not of a non-player who wasn't in the server does add a lot of I'd say insight into how a squad plays out their matches. So as of now, Wasted Potential looks like they are waiting for one of their players to reconnect back in. This is the Rise of Legion CSGO tournament powered by Lenovo and Intel. 3.5 lakh rupees on the line here in a tournament that's running 1 month long. We had 230 teams register in. They started off in the round of 256 last week. We are now down to the top 128, and by the end of this week, we will have our top 64. A lot of CSGO fans taking part, a lot of amateurs, semi-professionals, the absolute top teams of India, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. But here it's Wasted Potential versus Reckoning Esports in an all-Indian affair, and a lot of utility to stop Reckoning from what they've been doing so far. But they find the opener regardless. The pistols go to work, close range. Cloud finds one, and this is a story we have seen far too often already. They show some signs that yes, they were running a man short, but as soon as the utility stops Reckoning, it just explode into the A side there, OG.
Well, as if things were in battle already, now they're playing a man disadvantage, 4v5, 4 wasted potentials. It's gonna be pretty hard for them, but this is the upward struggle which most of these teams do go through, right? Especially in single elimination tournaments. Let's hope that Wasted Potential come out of this with something to learn out of the bad. Fuse pressing through, but Cloud has been consistent to it. Zell, he actually ends up going down. Now, Wasted Potential have something to base their A-side defense out of, but Triss quick to remove out of the hands. Win! For a second, I thought that Wasted Potential might come up on top of the trade, but Reckoning, once they start piecing the pieces of the puzzle together, they get a pretty good and vivid picture of how it's supposed to look, and it looks like a 13-2 half on the side of Reckoning Esports. Pretty, I'd say, easy half for Reckoning, as their A-side take hasn't been contested in the best of way thus far. I'd say going further through the tournaments where Reckoning actually start facing some turbulence, and that's where we see the character of this team actually develop. Right now, it just looks like quite a breeze for them, and they're enjoying it as well.
Yep, they're having a lot of fun right now as with Reckoning Esports switching over to the CT side. They've got 13 rounds behind them, just the 3 required, and Wasted Potential. 4 players in. You'd rather have the man disadvantage on the T side than on the CT side. So well, at least they got that going their way, but it is not much, OG.
I mean, hey, at this point you're asking people to trade limbs, and walking into it you would not want to trade a limb. I guess circumstances are as such. Nonetheless, Wasted Potential down a leg, now potentially on the verge of decapitation as a rush through A continues. Reckoning Esports will come in with Radiation Twist, aggressive position through sandwich, but gets completely deleted, and this is the form that Wasted Potential have been buying to hit Wimp. He's trying to contest towards the side, but he's completely sidelined him. Kara, he needs to land his shot, but he gets shot down in return. Fuse in 1 versus 3, and he gets furiously gunned down. 14-2. Reckoning Esports, they just added gasoline to the fire, and I guess it burns damn fast.
A lot of individual duels offered there by Wasted Potential, almost all of them easily won by Reckoning on the side. They did not have too much in terms of utility expended there for that pistol. Instead, decide to go for the Angels. They're going for the force buy here. They don't really have too much of an option to do otherwise. But yeah, I think the writing's pretty much on the wall here, OG.
Yeah, it's on the wall and it's written here. It says go Reckoning as Kara already opened things up. But he's bought enough time and space for Chris to be on the flank. Chris making his way clean towards the A side. He doesn't want to risk much. Oh, wait. Cloud on the push. Molotov burns yellow flag. This is done and dusted. 15-2. Looked like there was a chance when he got that initial kill. Sadly, that man disadvantage really comes to cost them when it comes to gaining map control.
Yeah, it almost puts you in a situation where you mentally as well just want to level the numbers disadvantage that you have, and you pretty much force yourself into an early duel on most occasions. There, unfortunately, wasted potential. Couldn't really find one. The Flames taking down a T there in the middle didn't really help either. And towards Bob, Kara gets spotted by Wimp. This man has been on point the entire day and is not gonna miss anytime soon, OG.
Yep, he looks. Ooh.
Is he actually going for this? Right in the jaw. That is it, boys.
That should be lights out. Mike, he's good for one. But he ain't the one. We're making it up. Jump spots coming in. Good shot from Mike, but the XM run down.
Yeah, that is as straightforward as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be Reckoning taking the game in convincing fashion there, 16-2. Quite the opposite of what we expected there, Apo.
Yeah, Wasted Potential was so strong in the round of 256 where we saw them, but against Reckoning Esports, and like what OG said, Reckoning Esports, they're pretty much like a juggernaut team. They performed extremely well. They started out in T side and it was just dominance. And then the disconnect for Wasted Potential, I think that just kind of killed their vibe a little even more.
Yep. I mean, even if they were 5 strong, it didn't look like they were in a position to stop Reckoning Esports on train there. Kind of questioning the plan behind leaving train in a best of one, especially with what we got to saw, where Wasted Potential weren't all that comfortable playing train, while it was quite the opposite for Reckoning. So I think to an extent there, Wasted Potential would have had a better chance in a map maybe like Dust 2, where it's a lot less reliant on strategy and execution and a lot more reliant on a lot of individual duels taken around the map. They would have had a lot better chance there, but take nothing away from Reckoning. These guys came in guns blazing, get the job done in style, and now qualify through to the round of 64.
All right. Once again, congratulations to Reckoning Esports. Now, guys, this is the Rise of Legion CSGO tournament that you're watching, powered by Lenovo and Intel. And we have AFK Gaming as our media partner. That was officially the end of game 1. And now we will go prep for game number 2, which will be Team Bruh versus Team Dart Gaming. All right. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're going to prep for it, and we'll see you very shortly.
To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors. To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors. To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors. To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors. To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors. To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, Savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors. To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors. To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors.
guys, and welcome back to the Rise of Legion CSGO tournament powered by Lenovo and Intel. And we have AFK Gaming as our media partner. And we are about to start game number 2. Now, we don't have the same game schedule, but we have RFL versus Lafange. That's
Yeah.
a very cool name, very interesting name. The map will be overpass. Any thoughts on this, Shade?
Absolutely none. I was all pumped for the other one, but unfortunately, I believe one of the players wasn't available from Darth Gaming. So we're not going to keep you fans waiting out there. We're going to instead swap over to a lobby that is ready to go. It will be RFL versus Lafange. Don't know much about the teams, but we know a lot about the map that's being played. Overpass, one of the go-to maps behind Inferno and Mirage. You've seen it plenty already in the round of 256. Round of 128, we're going to kick things off for the first time on stream here with Overpass. Knife round should start in a moment. Let's see how this game plays out.
All right. So we have no idea about both these teams. So this is going to be a first for us. The previous game we saw wasted potential, they didn't quite make it, and Reckoning Esports won the first game. Now it is the round of 128, and competition is going to get tougher. So it's going to be very likely that, this could be a close game, or, it could go the other way as well. But a map like Overpass, so how do you feel that these teams should approach this map as compared to the others?
Overpass is slightly CT-sided, so of course the team that does win the knife more likely than not is going to start off on the CT side. I think it's going to come down a lot to who has the better map control. Last time around, though it was a different map on train, we saw wasted potential never really got a chance in that match despite being on the CT side, and that which was a favored side, and that was primarily down to Reckoning just playing very fast. We saw that early utility usage pretty much choking how much wasted potential can do early on, prevent they had absolutely no vision whatsoever either. So if that is something that Lafange can pull off, in fact RFL can pull off on the T side here on Overpass, that could be completely going down that same road yet again. That being said, we are ready to jump into this map. Lafange starting off on the CT side, RFL on the T side. I'm Shays here. Joining me is OG, the low-res chicken. OG, take it away.
Well, Overpass, we discussed the CT side as often the more powerful side, but the one thing they are lacking in this circumstance is a kit. So retake's gonna be a pretty hard prospect to think of. It is the B side under siege though, and Lafange are in a position where they could play aggressive, and that's exactly what they're up to. The USBs up close and personal do deliver the opening kills, but they're far from closing the round out, as now it's a massive advantage for Lafange. The wide swing, but OP is going to be on the top of the engagement, and that's all left on a cynical Joker.
Ooh, he spots out the arm there. He could have had that kill and the 1v2, but instead he's gonna have to find 3 duels. OP is gonna be the hardest here. He's not gonna check this, and
Ooh, he does, and now he might have just given himself a fighting chance. Grim is down at 18, so it's not like they're really good on the HPM. They need to play this numbers advantage to their absolute best of their ability. Perhaps both positions given away. Doofy goes down, Grim is so low, and now there is a chance that Cynical can force the issue, but he's looking the wrong way, and he still gets the frag, but the time mistake too low. RFL get the pistol on the back of trades and maintaining map control, especially during the side take. Even though initially they did lose the frags, right? This is the reason why Rush actually works. The formula behind a rush is to overwhelm them in terms of numbers. Initially, they might be able to reply, but the pressure you mount on them will be far too much to break their defenses. And you saw that after that initial frags came in for Lafange, they did very little in terms of regaining the numbers. They, in fact, came a man down on the retake, and
look at this.
Fired out of control from there.
The CT train heads down connector, and they've completely bypassed them as RFL take control of long. The flashbang should be a dead giveaway of where they're playing from. They're trying to charge their way back in as Wiz Mania should be able to put that Mac 10 to use. Oh, he's not ready.
Why did he reload? No, not the best choice to make. Perhaps not anticipating the backlines to be as crowded as it was. Cynical Joker has found one, and he's keeping a lot of pressure in through Truck. Pirate position given away due to the weapon swap. He doesn't stand a chance to lose this game. He's down a 7, peaks into his doom, and 2-0 RFL. They did good winning this round. They should have prioritized keeping up numbers though. Now they risk the chance for Lafange to not only win this round, but on the back of that round victory, potentially break RFL's economy, which is not, as you see, fully developed as of yet. They need another 2 rounds where they have steady numbers kept alive to make sure that the D side is as smooth sailing as it could.
They're gonna invest into a few upgraded pistols, including the dual Z's on Jokers. So I believe he's gonna try and make his way towards short, where we do have a couple of T's heading in that direction. The boost does get spotted out. Hope he takes control of water, as the CTs do have heavy numbers here on the B side early on. Let's see if RFL can sniff this out.
Well, pistols have been something you do not want to devalue, especially in the Indian scene. So RFL better be on their tippy toes for this one. Slow take, not something that you'd like to do, especially when you're up against Deagles. It becomes far more easier for them to land the shot with the pistol. Bruh, that is just panic running through his nerves like haywire.
He just charges through the CT, who was in fact holding up A, and he takes down the player holding Heavens. Oh lord, he's not going to be a happy man there. The T who was the CT holding up from Heaven. His teammate at A completely left him open right there for a backstab. 3-0 RFL. There's a comical round there at the end, but pretty much came down to RFL not really committing early towards that B side, which was pretty much the only win condition there for Lafange, and instead they're able to force out individual duels. But the CTs go for the double op setup here. Let's see if that is gonna inflict a change in fortune, OG.
The only part of the double op setup that I really despise is once you lose control of a site. Now, with the task of regaining control, the op is not as effective. With this kind of scenario where you're still in the very early side of the half, especially on the CT side, you can't have such an expensive investment go down the drain. We've often seen this shade where a double op setup is so money consuming that a couple of rounds just get thrown out of the bag to try and regain that money invested, right? To try and recoup the loss.
Oh, the nade.
He's lost a significant amount of HP now. And they are gaining a lot of map control, I'll be honest. For Lafange, the more the time boils down, the more pressure coming to that direction will impact such a heavy blow. OP has done a really good job keeping the B defense humble, and now with the commitment towards A, this frag means everything. Grim finds Cynical Joker off guard. This baits the rotation towards the A side when the real hits towards B. Sadly, they failed to break the crossfire though, and this B defense is gonna be stellar. The aggro drawn, Joker and Tens find one apiece with Gross free. Cool calm collected, landing the shot on a Grim. 3-1, Lafange just fall flat. RFL just falls flat in the dying few minutes of the round. You had an inkling as to what's happening. We all knew what they were trying to do, but Lafange seemed to be one step ahead of realizing it's a fake and setting up a perfect crossfire to cut them short.
Yeah, RFL had the thinking right there, but I think it failed in 2 aspects. One was the fact that Lafange didn't really buy it, and secondly, that B hit rather didn't really have any weak hitter. They just pretty much ended up walking into a crossfire, and yeah, that A eventually backstab coming in didn't really matter at all. Early utility here towards B. OP seems like he's gonna have to pretty much make do with just the Mac 10.
Okay.
Because he just got a little too trigger happy there.
Like, bro, I told you not to come connector. Why? Sometimes you do have those kind of teammates, right? But those are the fun ones in the end. The guys you can just relax with, enjoy, have a nice day. So far, not been a nice start for Lafange, but certainly could end up being a good day because now their buy is good. With the double up setup towards the side defense, they potentially could get their early frag and then commit on the retake. But this Mac 10 is going to be so quick on the push though. OP is sadly working the back line, which means he's trying to buy time for the rotation, and that's actually worked. They're rotating over, they're behind the wall of smokes, and it's all on a Groot to try and deliver. So it's swing wide, good deny on Doofy, but could have denied the bomb with 12 left in the chamber. He's given RFL a chance. There's a 3 versus 5 with the defense being relatively split, but they are working off each other though. 2 kill apiece down at 2 versus 3. This is still doable for RFL, but Nayab, he's gone so low. Pirate on the wide swing actually downs Ghost Freak. It's all left on a cynical Joker now, where once it started good for Lafange, it's gone all spiraling with down the way of hell. He's pulled out the USP, but RFL have pulled around out of the bunny's hat. What's happening, Shade?
Perfect usage of utility there to get the plant in the first place there. RFL don't lose the numbers. They get a clean plant in, and post plant they got themselves set up at toilets. Lafange, they knew the hit was coming their way, but there was nothing they could do at that point of time. Perfect execution, and Lafange, they will have the buy-in, but it's not going to be as pretty here.
Not at all, Shade. This is quite brutal. RFL are maintaining such a good grip over the CT side economy right now. Lafange need to have a breakthrough moment at any point now.
That was very close there through the smoke.
Sadly, Lafange will have to take their engagements on lower utility, which won't matter if they're finding pickoffs like this. Mind you, Wiz is very low. He can't afford to commit to this wide swing. Rather, it's gonna be 2 feet. Oh, it could have been a furious spray down, but he just comes up short. And so are Lafange, a man short in this circumstance. The crunch back towards connector. All eyes are gonna be on Trans right now to deliver. Wiz lines up the flash, but he gets so outread. Perfect play from Trans to keep this round alive and buying a little bit of map control, denying the rotation from one of the members of RFL from the A side, that is. Not only cuts it, but cuts his life short. Now it's a 2 versus 3 with Lafange on the man advantage side. The only problem is, I have an inkling that RFL are about to pull out what I'd say is an outrageous round.
Trans, yeah. When you're finding shots like that through the smoke, it gets a lot easier. But it's OP with the op. He needs to hit another one. Can't find it close. No scope.
Ooh, the collateral was almost in there. They lined up. Oh shit, that scared me. For a second, I thought that collateral is gonna come in the nick of time. Luckily, Lafange played this one as quick as they could to try and overwhelm the op, which did happen successfully. 4-2. Lafange still have not come across an economy problem as of yet, but they will soon if RFL are able to reply in kind, because their money isn't soaring sky high right now, and the only thing that can save them is consistency on the CT side.
And a no scope collateral there. If he makes that happen, I believe that would have broken Lafange right then and there, but instead the CTs managed to put a dent on the RFL economy here. They do have a mix buy coming in. 1 AK, but the timing with the nade out in their hand, it brings it down to Jokers now.
He needs to come up massive with frags. The smoke is right in front of him, and he's using RFL's utility against him. This could be a godly play, but he gets outread. Holy Jesus, that was so... Wiz knew it as well. He faked the bomb. He dropped a Molotov towards Graffiti to deny any kind of aggressive stance. At that point, they were going to deny the bomb. They were trying to work on the chaos, but he just outread 2 people at once. Have you seen a brain this big, Shade? Because I don't think I have. Straight up Marshall.
That was not a very conventional position to hold, but the T's there, they pretty much did their basics, right? They check every single angle. They're ready for the CT to pretty much use their opponent's smoke to their advantage, and yep, just finding those 2 early frags on the back of Wizmania gives RFL the round, and Lafange, they're winning duels, they're winning rounds here and there, but on the CT side of Overpass, unfortunately, that's not going to be enough in the grand scheme of things here if they're looking to take down RFL and move on in the Prize of Legion CSGO tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they do have the one saved op to play with on Ghost Freak, which is heading towards B.
Yeah, he needs to get this opener, and not only that, he needs to carry the weight of the round on his shoulders. He needs to be a very explosive member of Lafange, being as decisive as he could on his rotation, try to get aggressive at different areas of the map. If they head down Playground, they will be able to spot the bomb.
Wait, he hasn't seen that?
No, they have one man to his Playground. Very uncomfortable fight. Groot gets 2 to the P50. Now this you won't see coming from a mile away. Luckily, Pirate, he's ready in a position to respond.
He just got bamboozled by his own teammate there. That's not the first time that is happening, by the way.
That is not the first time that's happening, but that is the funniest time. It actually happened. You can make a gif of that, Shade.
But the most important thing is they somehow still hold on. It's 2v2. There is no rifles picked up on the 2 remaining CTs, and Slashes out. They have control of the C4 here at Playground, and
why are they not checking? Shade.
16 HP. There was so much utility left as well. As they don't use any of it. It's just go for the duels straight up. Pirate. 2 tough duels considering he's down to 16 HP. Will he check the corner? He does. He wins the first one pretty easily. Knife out. He makes it across the corner, and that's the opportunity.
Time, though. Cynical Joker is just gonna win it on virtue of time. Oh boy, Shade. It's been a while since we've seen rounds like this. It's been a very long time, in fact, since we've seen a round turn out in this comical of a fashion. It not only starts off with a bamboozle betrayal, but it ends with a comedic twist. Now, this has the elements of a real good sitcom.
Lafange, we were talking about what wasn't working for them. Just chaos right there is their ticket to finding a round back into this RFL. Pretty much outdid themselves right there. That was just Lafange sitting back, just pinching them at different parts of the map, saying, you know what? I don't see you expect this play, and it plays to their strengths. And RFL, they're no strangers to a buy like this either. We've already seen them make a buy like this successful with far lesser the last time around. I believe it was 2 pistols, 1 SMG, only the 1 rifle. Let's see if they can kind of make that happen the second time around here as RFL take control of toilets early on.
RFL are trying to look for any loose ends. They're trying to punish any sort of aggression being posed on the back lines, but that's definitely not the case. But they've penetrated the front lines, which is going to be good for the entry, but that's it. And now RFL keeping the pressure on. Doofy doing this one actually gets a kill on a Cynical, and he doubles up. Doofy, an absolute madman with the as he leaves Jokers in an alone 1 versus 3. This is going to be a massive clutch if he's able to pull it back, but I don't see this being in the realms of possibility. I guess the only silver lining here is OP is dead low and Pirate has a deagle. He still has to get these 3 duels in individual 1v1s and in that succession. He does spot Pirate, but I don't think there's going to be a chance. They're just going to play with them. Clock spoiled far too low. And they even go for the final kill as well. 6-3. Lafange are starting to look a little too dry on their CT side, where posting poor results early will lead you to have a bad economy, which in result won't allow you to play as aggressively, which almost nullifies the advantage the CT side have on a map like Overpass. in my opinion, Shade, this might just soon start a snowball in the favor of RFL with Lafange having no active involvement in the game whatsoever.
Lafange, they did real good when they had nothing to lose and they play aggressive. This time around, they had the buy and they instead decide to slow things down, play it actually very fast. Never mind, where's Mania?
Yeah, he knows exactly what's up. Round Doofy in with the instant trade. They have found an AK though, but it's not gonna be up for quite a while. Please, if RFL do I don't think RFL are even gonna prioritize a hunt. They're like, here, take this one AK, we're gonna take the one round, because this one round is gonna mean a lot to us in the grander scheme of things. But they're gonna hit 7, their economy is gonna be set straight, and they can continue enforcing their dominance over Lafange's CT side defense, which so far hasn't stood up to the test of being a very solid one, right? RFL are consistently finding these opening picks. Let it be on the buy round, let it be on the eco round. They are consistently able to find these pickoffs. And it just seems like Lafange, even though they're rotating in the nick of time, the rotation does bare minimum to even secure the side from the lowest of expectations.
Yep. That time around, it was pretty much a CT train on the anti-eco. They charge into connector straight into, I believe, Wiz Mania, who finds the initial 3 kills, setting up the round for RFL, who have lost a player by the look of things. And they're going to call. Surprisingly, the timeout comes in from the CTs. 10 kills onto Tran, but besides him, the rest of his team, Cynical is sitting on 8. Joker's not really having the best of matches just yet. While it has been Wizmania styling on right now for the first 10 rounds, 14 frags. 7-3, 7 rounds on the T side of Overpass. I think they've pretty much already done enough here. This half, every single round here is gonna be a huge bonus for the T's, OG.
Yeah, for a second I was a little scared for RFL there, considering they were deciding to play that a 4v5, but lucky for them that they do get a timeout. At least Lafange have a little time to have a breather, right, before everything goes down a spiral. They still have a chance to come out of the half positive. They still have a chance to redeem themselves. But now comes this part where chances start to diminish, right? Not only the amount given to you, but even how much you can do with that chance. You need to stop RFL right here, right now, before their economy gets any more bigger and before they keep riding this momentum wave that they've been on for quite a while.
And if you're the CTs, it is very easy to fall into that hole where you're in a situation where you feel you have just about enough and you just keep force buying round after round, but the utility and the gunpowder is just not enough to stop a strong T side that just keeps continuing to make you bleed round after round to a point where the first half just goes by with you getting absolutely nothing. And Lafange seems like they're going to force buy into this with the 2 SMGs for Mass AK M4 with no kits. Yeah, I don't believe the force buy is the solution here, OG.
Yeah, it just becomes something like a death trap where it's almost impossible for you to come out of until you hit that lottery. Let's hope that Lafange has their best place in the right spot. Trans! That was a disgusting flick to his short. He makes this one a doable 2 versus 3. RFL, though, have been consistent in turning tables and heads to the floor. Lafange are taking things slow, but this might be a little too slow, even for their own comfort, as they've lost the backstabbing through short. This makes it more of a one-dimensional retake, and they're brute forcing their way in through the site. Pirates are such a nasty...
Here, I think I was expecting a flash there. Not really sure. He's looking the wrong.
I think he might... Graham ends up committing to a peek. Yeah, we've been having quite a bit of that, haven't we, Shade?
Is a play just staring at the wall. But yeah, in reality, if he wasn't really disconnected. He was probably expecting a flash coming through, but yeah, kind of did look very hilarious from where we were sitting. But
I think
Lafange,
RFL.
yeah, we're talking about the fact, like you said, it was they pretty much lost the backstab right there, which meant the CTs were coming in from a pretty expected position, but RFL. It wouldn't really have mattered if you're looking the wrong way. That CTs pretty much get handed a free frag on that retake. 4-7. Lafange, they're not going to be complaining about that. They needed the route. They found it. Don't question the means.
Yeah, and a very crucial run in that as well, because now that stops RFL from taking the lead of the half. They've already gotten their fair share of pie. They're just looking for the extra whipped cream that you might get on the side. For now, Lafange have put a halt to the whipped cream, but this might get out of control, Shade. They've gone back with the op on Ghost Freak. We've not seen it work when there was a double op setup. Let's hope a single op setup tries to give him a little more priority when it comes to taking engagements and taking aggression. But now it doesn't seem like it though. He wants to lay back a little more passive, play all the way back from Heavens, while he has, if I'm not mistaken, that's Trance towards the site. Nade should hit the mark, but Doofy is incredibly precise on his entry. A 3 versus 5.
I think you tap out right here.
You tap out right now, you make sure you get all your guns in for the next round, and you just try to hit while the iron's hot.
Yeah, that was the T's not really doing too much. They basically just walked through the smoke, through Monster. They pop a couple of flashbangs and Lafange straight up lose the first two duels. Nothing that the player at Barrels could do, nothing that the player at Heaven could do either. It's a story that we got to see a lot of in the last match on stream today. And seems like Lafange have gotten, unfortunately, a repeat of that flashbangs through Cynical.
Ooh, now, he's got the exits. Let's say something in terms of economic damage was done, but very little in way of redeeming the scoreline.
Yeah, but it does give them a little bit more firepower this round, though.
Yeah, but again, they're back on their death trap as usual. They force buy into Deagles. Groot is completely invested. Yeah. They have 3 M4s, which is a good choice, mind you, if you go armor. But I just don't see the point of forcing every single round when the result's going to be the same. You need something different. You need a different investment strategy. You need something that makes...
The boost is coming in, and he's ready for this.
He's ready. Could not land the headshot, though. Does a decent amount of damage on a ghost. Fire sadly not connected, and this is getting to be a very messy affair towards short. And that's the place where RFL are stacked towards while having Grim lurk all the way through a long. Aggressive off angles being held. They're just seeing if Lafange are gonna walk into their angles, which has not been the case so far. Jokers, though, is in a one-and-done spot. Good on the first in terms of the kill, but he did very little in way of actually buying time for this retake. You can see the Molotov has already done so much in way of cancelling Lafange's chances for retaking the side, although a little overshot. Lafange with the control in through bank want to spearhead this retake, which seems unlikely from the get-go. With this crossfire setup through long and toilets, it should be a one-and-done round for RFL to close in the pack. The first kill does come in though, and it's in the favor of Lafange, giving them the man advantage. But mind you, there is no kit to speak of. They need to be on the bomb and they need to be there fast. Wiz chiming in with a kill from long splits the defense, and it makes it an easier chance for these guys to get 1v1s, which they are. It's only Trance though who's run it out from Lafange. The back turn and the frag taken. In fact, who needs teammates? Doofy's gonna take Wiz down with Lafange. Just throw the man off board, and the ship gets lighter.
Well, not the kind of collaterals that you want on a regular basis, but hey, he's gonna take it. He secures the round there. 9-4, Lafange.
2 for 1 is 2 for 1. Say what you want about it.
Yep. I mean, his score doesn't really get affected with the +1 and a -1, but
Quick maths, Shade. Quick maths.
Quick math indeed. Tran, let's see if he's got quick fingers here with the flick. Oh,
Yeah, man's not help with the deagle, Shade. France. Down a 4 HP, goes big trying to buy a little bit of cover. Fire. OP goes down. Sorry, OP is on a killing spree. 3 headshots to his name. And the deal is try to. Alright.
There's deleting people through the smoke.
I mean, he's not task manager, but he definitely knows how to delete. He, in fact, gets the ace stolen away. Kill him! Kill him! He deserves to die. Pirate! Ah.
Well,
He's just having a shanty to himself right now. OP. He's got to feel a little frustrated, but just a little. Can't deny with having 11-4 half comes that.
well, they have the luxury of loosening up a little there, just having fun. Double digits, 10-4, last round of the first half. They're in a very comfortable position. Lafange, however, do have the buy, and they've shown us that, hey, around here or there, that smoke is gonna cost Tran here. Allows free passage through, goes to no position to get that. They spotted out in water, tagged down to 2 HP. Flashes, not really gonna help much.
Was shooting through the smoke, furious as ever, and this is just the dismemberment of Lafange. It's all left on the Joker. A dribble one on that as well, considering Wiz was down at 32 HP, but that doesn't seem to be the case. 11-4, quite the dominant start for RFL on their T side of Overpass, and well, we did come out of the rounds of 256 yesterday, Shade, but it doesn't seem like it's going to paint a different picture just yet. You know, we've been talking a lot about how gamers could get a couple of tips under their belt during the stream, especially for the quarantine, where we talk about keeping a good mentality, we talk about keeping good physique. But you've been in the gaming scenario for far longer than I have, Shade. In fact, all the way back in Dota 1, where you're trying to go professional. I'd say these players also need to consider the long term, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a long term for Lafange. They either get this retake or it's going to be easy GG for. They either get this bomb defended or it's going to be easy GG for RFL, which has been the case for.
I mean, they've got the early man advantage here, and the retake's not seeing fruition. Nicely done by Lafange there.
Resurgence in terms of morale, certainly for Lafange after winning the T-side pistol.
Yep.
Yeah, but coming back to the point of discussion, Shade, is there anything that you'd like? So the current gaming, what you'd consider the major demographic when it comes to gaming and esports would be around the 20 years mark, right? So you being a very experienced, not only in terms of esports as a competitor, but also how it works inside out, right? Is there any tips that you'd like to give for people who are just new to esports or are in a phase where they've been in esports for about 2 years and they just starting to get a hang of it?
I believe the primary thing that has changed from, I'd say, when I used to play Dotes, when I started playing Dota semi-professionally, back in 2007, is the access to players, matches, information overall. We pretty much were forced to download demos and watch them. There wasn't really, online streaming wasn't really a very big thing back then, so we never really knew what was the kind of strats that the international teams were using, what the professionals were doing, how were they approaching certain scenarios, certain maps. You pretty much had to either brainstorm and come up with ideas yourself, which would be the case majority of the time. If not, you pretty much had to go through the grind of trying to find replays online, trying to find information online. That is no longer the case here today. You have access to a wealth of information, a wealth of strategies online. You pretty much get to watch matches from every single region without really having to break a sweat. And I think just straight up capitalizing on and using that information to the max. Because most of these players are grinding a lot every single day, right? But it is to get the grind right, to be smart about the kind of effort that is going in and getting the most out of it, reducing the kind of the curve that would otherwise be presented in front of you, I think is what the players need to concentrate on. But yes, it was not at all viable, I would say 15 years back, but today we are in a very fortunate situation for gamers today in the fact that many of them can actually take this up as a viable career, OG. But for now, Tran, he's been spotted out. He is gonna get pushed back. Lafange, I believe their successful start to the T side, a flawless start, is soon to be put to a close. 1v3, 26 seconds remaining. He has the C4, but he's got actually no utility remaining. So he's gonna pretty much have to wing this, win the initial duel out, and hope that he gets himself into a good post plant. No such situation.
12-6 RFL, where they did lose wind in the pistol. They're quick to regain it with the rifles, and they are on the verge of shutting Lafange down on their T side. The reinvestment, do you think it's going to be worth it, Shade? We've seen Lafange fall into this death trap. It seems like they're going to go the conventional route. I'm expecting a hero AK, but a force ain't all that bad in a situation like this, where you would have a chance to abuse the Mac 10s alongside a quick rush accompanying a flash to maybe overwhelm the FAMAS or potentially the MP9. Now with the peak on too long, the dink is all that's there. Tran survives on 18 HP, but he's still giving them the man advantage. I assume there was a nade coming in too long, but it was actually a flashbang. Those coming in from connector, while the B-side defense holds strong, is going to be the changing point. He needs to be the one getting the frags, because his teammates have died trying to buy him distraction. He smokes a little FP, but Grim knows it, and Grim demolishes the push through long. It's all left on a Lafange's cynical Joker. I love the fact that there are two Jokers in the team, but it doesn't seem to be doing them any good in terms of rounds, Shade, because where there's one Joker working the front lines, the other Joker is working the back lines, and there's not enough firepower to break through any part of RFL's defense, at least at the moment, with them on superior weaponry.
Yeah, no jokes about the situation Lafange find themselves in here. It is a pickle right now.
Yeah, and it's our
13-6 RFL, just 3 rounds away from sealing the win. Lafange is pretty much being trying to do his absolute best. 21 frags on a team that is actually losing pretty hard here. Huge props, but yeah, his teammates need to step up here if they are to eventually make a comeback into this. If they don't win this round, I don't see them being able to eventually turn this around to stay in the Rise of Legion CSGO tournament.
Exactly. This is do or die right now for Lafange, and they better do. They have no control towards B whatsoever. It's a straight up A play, and RFL, they're not shy about this. They want to take this fight. Even though that they don't necessarily need to contest it, it's a fight they're willing to take.
First fight coming the way of Toffee, and he wins it. Huge win there, and look at the backstab coming in from Pirate.
Beautiful.
And they've completely sandwiched the 3 remaining Ts here. They've got no way out of this but to fight their way out, and they surprisingly give them a freebie there.
I just love the fact that RFL are willing to get aggressive at any moment. That might just punish them. Perhaps over-aggression, a little overzealous to put this to a quick end. Wiz needs to land this headshot. It's just whizzing past Trance's ears, and now he's completely read the situation. He knows exactly what's up. The call's been made. Is this being too much of a read though? Is he just outgaming himself in this moment?
Wow, he heard the footsteps, but the C4 did go towards B, and he's probably got an inkling of where he's playing from. Joker.
Is he gonna ninja this? If he ninjas this, he 100% has this in the bag. Never mind, Joker. It's gonna be on the offensive. Again, this is the real risk in a one-on-one. You could go the aggressive and safe route, but you never know what your enemy is up to. The shadow shown, and now Wiz, he's gonna be forced to commit. Joker still committing on the he tags Wiz the first time around. He backs him the second. Easy. This is how you play a 1 versus 2 technically, but that overcommitment from the player who was towards A side, if I'm not mistaken, that is Trans. That should have not happened. He should have just had the safe rotate in through connector, or should have just held the back lines for a little longer. That push costed them a little bit more than they would have liked, in case the bomb would have been defused.
Yeah, that got way too close for comfort for Lafange there, but they come out thanks to a stellar 1v1 post-plant play there from Joker. So let's see if they can repeat that as early aggression towards short. They do get free control. No resistance offered just yet, but Pirate STK is probably going to run into Sneakle Joker in a bit. Short Tran is being smoked off for the moment, and Grim. What does he have? He has the 1 flash and the 1 HE. Not ideal. But here comes the flashbang. They're going to look to push this, and Wiz almost lines them up, but he has absolutely nothing to show for.
The nade! Beautiful job, Doofy. All the way in from heaven, if I'm not mistaken. Lands a slam dunk towards the short. And mind you, the Fungi are going to be on the rotation. They've made their way through toilets already, but have they dropped the soap? Because the rotations have come in from RFL.
Yeah, they're in position, and Doofy, this man can do no wrong. That is a
Beautiful
wonderful
rotation.
read
Beautiful
there on the play. And Ghost Freak, he's got the C4, but he's got a lot of T's here waiting for him on the other side. Doofy not going to be called into play as Pirate closes things up 14-7. Yep,
But
that was
other
enough
than
damage
that,
there by Wiz for that nade eventually to get the 2K.
Exactly, Shade. That nade hit home run. If that nade wasn't there, there was a huge possibility that Lafange could have taken this round. Perfect use of utility, disciplined gameplay coming in from RFL. For those who are a little unaware, they did try to set up a flash, but I'm not really sure if the flash was set up properly. They tried to blind towards B short. Lafange, even with the vision, they get absolutely dumpstered, and now with the rush towards the B side, it's perhaps the best time to call it, as there's only a 2-man defense. OP is going to get the tag from off the bat. Now Doofy comes into action, but he's only good for the first. They can potentially run down the off with the pistols that they do have. And this is the chance for RFL to potentially close this game out. OP, he's been discovered, his position given away, and he is a little vulnerable. He needs support, and he needs it now. They are using him as the perfect bait though, and Grim perfectly positioned to buy as much time for RFL to commit towards both short and long. Split the defense, take it a hole, and this seems to be the final leg that Lafange was standing on the verge of decapitation.
Yep, match point here for RFL to move on to the round of 64 as Lafange did go in for the Tech 9 armor the last time around, so they will have a decent bit of money to spend here. 3 AKs, a Galil, and just the deagle onto Ghost Freak. There is almost no utility, a few flashbangs, and this means one thing: it's fast play.
It is ultra fast play, Shade. Potentially a counter flash. This could be a spray down. I think Doofy is gonna pull out something absolutely absurd at the end of the Shade. I just have that inkling. Push coming in. They are ready with the pincer. OP missing the first shot. The smoke might be a little late. Groot could commit on the wide swing. The nade. OP's risking so much right now. He's so exposed. But luckily, he composed himself and his teammates are in position. The final leg for Lafange to be in this tournament. And they started off with a trade. Wiz coming massive with a double through the smoke. He sprays wildly. USB out in the hand. Opts in for the reload. You know exactly what chances as well. But Grims goes down due to it. Wait, it's an awkward one.
Yeah, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Comes down to a 1v1, but Doffy is in position here to go for the finish. He's gonna play patient. He knows time 50 seconds remaining. Lafange, Tran can definitely go the other way, but instead he's gonna try and take a guess that he's coming back towards B, and the timing's gonna be everything here. He's gonna spot him on the jump, and that is it. 16-7. It will go down as another quick one there as yeah, that was the CTs. They're very strong indeed, but what do you say?
It was a lot closer compared to the first
Yeah.
game that we watched. But Doffy nicely just ended that very perfectly, trigger control, and just took out that last surviving member on the side of Lafange. But congratulations to RFL. They've made it out of the round of 128. And any last thoughts on how that match went, Shade?
I mean, they were trading blow for blow at the beginning, and the rounds that Lafange actually won, most of them were on the back of a few unconventional plays. They decided to play aggressive. On a couple of rounds, hit RFL in positions where they were not ready for. We did see that one pistol round where the T's split up and attacked both from mid as well as from all the way towards from T-spawn. So unfortunately, as soon as they had the guns, they decided to play it passive. It was in fact the very next round where utility pushed in deep towards the A side, pushes the CTs into pretty much allowing the T's to get free reign over the site, the plant, easy post-plant situations. And that continued to be the story. After a few rounds in, Lafange kind of lost their way through. We did see a couple of moments of individual brilliance. Huge shout out to Tran. I think he played out of his mind, but yeah, CSGO is a team game and one man can do only so much. It Wizmania on the other side for RFL, pretty much doing the exact same thing. But yeah, RFL, congratulations. Well-deserved win, and they will move on to the round of 64.
Yes, and we saw Reckoning Esports and RFL make it over to the next tier. Now, this is the Rise of Legion CSGO tournament powered by Lenovo and Intel with our media partner, who is AFK Gaming. And I think this actually just wraps everything up. So congratulations to the two teams. We'll be back tomorrow with more games. We will have 2 more games. It starts at 6 p.m. So subscribe to this channel. You will get the notification. Click the bell icon as well. And I think that's it. So we can call it a day. Thank you so much, Shade, and OG as well for the amazing shoutcasting. And we will see all of you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
To the untrained eye, you look like everyone else. But you have another side. Embrace it with a machine that's worthy of you. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside. Legion by Lenovo, powered by Intel Core i7 processors.